Dolores McMillan. I'm proud retired principal, educator from Osceola County after 38 years. But I am here in the capacity of president of the NAACP. I want to address the issue of the critical race theory. I wanted to go on record the position of the national, state, and local position on critical race theory. Critical race theory is an academic legal framework that denotes systemic racism is part of American society. CRT recognizes that racism is more than the results of individual biases and institutions that uphold and reproduce racial inequalities, such as school to prison pipeline.
I'm here to speak on a subject that hits very close to home for me. Today I'm here to ask the board what guidelines they have in place to protect our precious children in their learning environment. I have been aware for a while that the school district has a business partnership with a felon. Now, most of you are going to be like, maybe that person is a good person, but I'm not talking about one felony. I'm saying that this man has multiple felonies from his 20s to his 50s, ranging from writing fraudulent checks to illegal weapon charges. Now, I mean, why would our school district want someone like this to dress up as a superhero and have our children look up to him? Just because he runs a nonprofit? Has the school district obtained any financials of this nonprofit to in fact prove that it's legit? I'm sure they must have done that when they donated a whole school bus to them, right?
St. Cloud, Florida. Stop sexualizing our children of all ages. You have overstepped your authority. Thank God for Governor DeSantis for signing the Parental Rights Bill, which does not say, don't say gay. That was made up by ideologists with their own agenda. Stop trying to steal the innocence of our children. They are our babies and children, not yours. Our tax dollars are supposed to be used to educate children in the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and science. Not tell boys they can be a girl or a girl can be a boy. Genesis 1:27, God created man in his own image. Male and female, he created them. Man keeps trying to change God's word to fit their agenda. Stop grooming children to think they can change their gender. What they need is counseling to help them understand what is actually going on
County. I also want to say that I have really enjoyed learning about school board meetings. It's exciting. You learn a lot. But I really want to say that critical race theory should not be stifling teachers not to teach it in this public schools. History is history. You can't change it. Some history is hateful. Some people might say that it makes people unhappy or makes them sad. But race theory is not about making you happy or making you sad. It's just history.
I wanted to introduce you to Tiger again. Tiger drew this last night. He's my autistic son. And he goes to Celebration K-8, and today he failed his Florida assessment test. And I'm perfectly happy with that. Okay? I came here today to talk to you about the problem we have staffing, the teaching jobs and the bus driver jobs and things like that. It's been a big issue at a lot of these meetings. And I want you to know that I decided to put my chemical engineering degree and my law degree to use. And in January, I applied to be a math and science teacher at Celebration K-8. And I thought, with my background, I was pretty highly qualified for this job. But in 3 months, nothing's happened. I pulled this off today. Nobody's called me. The application is still here at step 1. So anybody who comes up here and says, oh, we need to hire more teachers or we need to hire this, I think they're full of BS. Because obviously, you guys don't want to hire anybody. Because you will.
I, believe it or not, am going to be brief this evening. All right, I know, you won't believe it until you see it. Listen, I come here again letting you know two things. Number one, we want to give you the opportunity, we the people, to be the good guys. We want you to write history, and you go down in it as seeing something that you did not disagree with, or that you didn't agree with to begin with, and decided that you would change your mind on because it was the right thing to do. I'm simply talking about giving the bonus to the ESPs that the governor gave to me and to the principals, and doing the right thing by
So
them.
last time I was here, I shared a quote, and the quote was that infantry wins battles, logistics wins wars. And the infantry has arrived, like, we are here tonight. And we're not here in, like, rebellion. We are here asking, what are the logistics? What is the plan? Because you cannot go into battle with an unhealthy infantry. You can't just say, they will figure it out. We will pay them $12.60. But in July, they'll get 15 because that's the new law that in October they have to get 15. And it'll be fine because now they're making.
Whichever way you want. Good evening, board and public present. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm a resident of St. Cloud, Florida. And the topic of my speech today is stop saying that you have no money. Parents are present here or they're watching from home thanks to YouTube. Do you know that Florida received from the government a $1.5 billion? And sadly, in Florida, we're still ranked 43 in the nation in funding schools.
446. I'm here today because I have these couple books in my hands that are from Celebration High School. And where these came from, there's a lot more in all of our schools and worse. I want you guys to know that I work really, 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 really hard at home to teach my kids good morals, to teach them good values like chastity and modesty, and I take them to church, and I bust my butt to go against the grain of this world and teach them better morals, higher standards than what's out there. And it's really disturbing to come across these books that are at their fingertips that are disgusting. Quite frankly, it's embarrassing to read, and there were a couple kids in here that I'm glad have gone, because otherwise I would not be able to read this. Although you guys provide these to our kids in schools. So I'm going to read a couple words from this. I teach my kids not to sexualize women, not to sexualize sex, not to look at porn, and not to look at women as objects. And these books literally pull the rug from out from under me and teach them the exact opposite. This is from a book called Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. And it says, yeah, Earl, I'm going to eat her pussy. Huh? Yeah. Do you even know how to eat pussy? Not really. Papa Gaines never sat you down, son. One day you're gonna have to eat the pussy. No, but he did teach me how to eat a butthole. And this goes on and on and on. When Earl is in full gross out mode, you have to play along or you'll feel stupid. That's exactly what the schools are teaching our kids, to play along or they'll feel stupid.
My question does not seem that important now. I do want to say, first off, as a teacher in this district, we need to support our support. We can't do our job without them. And when a sub doesn't come or when a teacher can't be there or something, they do every job. And we cannot run the schools without them. And they need to be
St. Cloud. It's been a while since I've been here. And so for me to come back for the same thing, the book that I'm concerned about, the library books, and you all know that. Back in October, they interviewed me on Channel 35 over Lawn Boy. Okay? I can't stand this filth. We are grooming our kids. There were 815 books that Tammy found, which is one of our parents. She found in the district website for our library books. So basically what we're doing is Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl about, I can't even bring myself to say the pussy word. As a Christian, I just feel like, oh. But you know what? Christians need to speak out too, because that book talks about eating 22 vaginas. Teaches them how to do it. The The book Genderqueer, it didn't meet qualifications to be pulled, but it shows graphic oral sex, boys doing boys. It's horrific, and it makes me shake because I know that I stand before God and I have been in this school board and have spoken to you. Some of you get mad and you go out of the building and you don't come back. Some of you roll over and you just go with it and vote. You fight one board member who's standing up for us. Our children are being taught to hate white children. Our teachers are being trained in critical race theory, and they are being
School-age children. I'm going to read two short excerpts from two different books found in Osceola schools that I'm absolutely not okay with. Genderqueer, which she mentioned, found in Osceola High School. I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. This, like she mentioned, was pulled for review, but did not meet the criteria to be taken off the shelves. The other one is All Boys Aren't Blue. This one was found at Denjon Middle School. You told me to take off my pajama pants, which I did. You then took off your shorts, followed by your boxers. You stood in front of me, fully erect, and said, "Taste it." At first I laughed and refused, but then you said, "Come on, Matt, taste it. This is what boys like us do when we like each other." I've heard the argument that we are just picking on LGBT books. This is not so, as my outrage would be the same had it been a heterosexual act that was described here. These sexually explicit encounters are unacceptable for any minor, regardless of gender or sexual orientation.
Here's me, Earl, and the dying girl, part of it. When Earl is in full gross mode, you have to play along or you'll feel stupid. God bless the man, yep. I would teach you some pussy-eating techniques, but it's a little complicated. That's a shame. I would need some diagrams and whatnot. Well, tonight maybe you can draw some up. Son, I don't have time for that. I got like 20 pussies over here that I need to eat. Is this right? I'm a pussy deadline. You've got 20 vaginas all lined up in a row. Oh, what the hell? What the hell? Now one's talking about vaginas. Greg, what the hell's wrong with you? Man, that's nasty. Earl likes to mix it up sometimes by pretending that you're being gross and he's not, when he's clearly being much grosser. This is a classic humor movie that has perfect over the years. That's one. I'm also gonna be the gay uncle, draw a fake mustache and pretend to be all fat and shit. Be like, boy, I'm gay as hell and I'm gonna fuck you. Now, let me tell you, I spent all weekend, from morning to the next morning, coming up with book after book after book after book of this type of stuff in our schools this is in the middle school and high school. And it's also in our elementary
St.
school.
Cloud, Florida. Damas y caballeros,
Ladies and gentlemen,
he venido antes de ustedes sobre muchos temas anteriormente.
I've been here before.
Por ejemplo, cuando intentaste imponer un mandato de máscara a nuestros hijos cuando ninguno de ustedes llevaban fielmente una máscara en sus propias caras.
For example, when you were trying to mandate the mask, when you were trying to pass a mask mandate, when none of you were wearing a mask.
También hablé antes de ustedes sobre su falta de transparencia y fiabilidad.
I also talked to you about your lack of transparency.
Hoy, sin embargo, estoy hablando sobre tal vez la peor de todas.
But today, I'm talking about the worst one of all.
I'm going to read something out of a book that got pulled out of Harmony High School, so I want to apologize in advance. I did get an education in Osceola County. Henry came to the side of her bed and pulled back the covers. Naomi sat up quickly and scrambled backward. "Shh," he said. He took one of her hands in his and squeezed it. "Come on over here." He pulled her to her feet, close to him. He shifted in his pajamas, and the part of him that made him a man stuck out. reddish purple, and frightening. She had never seen one before, except on a baby. This was different. He lifted her hand to his mouth and licked it. Then he lowered her hand down and closed it around the hardness. His hand moved hers. His left hand gripped her shoulder, pressing her head tight against the hard, flat plane of his stomach. She watched her hand move back and forth like it didn't belong to her. In the distance, she heard the train pass. A moment later, the thing leaped. Henry's whole body shuddered, and a hot mess lay across her palm between her fingers.
First of all, thank you all for your patience. Thank you to all those who have chosen to participate in this process, whether or not we agree on some things. Tonight, I want to remind some and make others aware that since approximately September, as far as I know, no other organization has negotiated or attempted to negotiate better working conditions and financial compensation for our ESPs. Thank you for recognizing that there's a staff shortage problem. Thank you for the $500 and the $15. And while money isn't everything, it does give educator families choices they don't have without a living wage. When there are vacancies, the kids suffer. Target, Walmart, Publix, they don't accept certificates of appreciation or words of praise as payment. We must take care of our caregivers. So what can you do? Number one, you can consider making ESPs whole this year. Number two, you can genuinely work with us to settle a more favorable 2022-2023 contract before the end of this school year. And let's be honest, because it appears SDOC is loaded. If you look at all the new and renewed contracts that we're putting out there, there's a lot of cash changing hands. So in closing, if you have the ability to do what needs to be done to encourage, you have the ability to do what needs to be done to encourage, to grow our own, and to provide financial opportunities for our employees who've met tremendous unforeseen challenges to give our kids their best shot at success. And that's it. Stay on message, Larry. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Mr. Lair.